We've been having an absolute blast in the workshop lately. My cousin and her 2 little daughters came over for a visit, and we had an amazing time playing with the giant balance game we printed on the Sovol SV08 Max, and even tasted some of our 3D printed chocolate. The girls love DIY crafts just as much as my nephew Levi does, but while our workshop is filled with cool gadgets, some of them are strictly off limits. Our high-powered open-frame lasers like the Acmer K1 10W are a massive safety hazard for younger kids. When I mentioned this to the team at Acmer, they told me they had a surprise for us, a fully enclosed laser device designed specifically for young families and safe home crafting. Enter the Acmer K1. Today, we'll see how it handles our usual materials like plywood, cork, and slate, but you will definitely want to stick around until the end because I'll be showing you a special project, a stunning, highly detailed, multi-layered picture cut from cardboard that proves exactly where a 7W laser like this truly excels. You'll get a close-up a little bit later. I'm gerGO, and welcome to gerGO Print 3D, the YouTube channel where we test 3D printers, laser engravers, and other CNC machines, and share our family DIY adventures. Just like our previous videos, I made sure this one comes with curated, translation-ready subtitles, detailed chapter markers, and audio tracks in multiple languages to give you the best experience. Let's see what we are working with. As usual, Levi took charge of the unboxing.
Okay, so we have another laser from Acmer, and
he might have cut open the wrong side of the box at first.
it's coming.
But eventually, he conquered it. Inside we found some test materials, instructions, tools, and yes, the device itself. And of course, the protective peels on this one were satisfying. The K1 features a compact 150 by 150 millimeter work area, just like our Sovol Zero 3D printer. But the real selling point here is the extreme focus on safety. It is a fully enclosed device, just like the Zero again. This one has a dark red laser filtering lid that lets you safely monitor the job's progress from the front and half of the top, which is key. There's a fantastic redundancy built in with these double lid sensor micro switches. If the lid is opened even slightly, the laser stops immediately. You also get triple laser light protection, the tinted enclosure lid, a colored guard right around the laser head itself, and they even included a pair of protective glasses as an extra layer of safety for the operator. The laser unit is packed separately, and Levi easily installed it himself. This is a 7W diode module. Now, 7W is a big step up from our very first enclosed beginner laser, the Acmer K1, which was only 3W. But for cutting, it's still a relatively modest power level. We also received a rotary unit and some riser feet for it, but we are saving those accessories for a dedicated follow-up video. Setting up the software was a breeze. We installed the Acmer Studio app on my Windows laptop, which is very beginner friendly, but since Levi and I are used to a bit more control, I was really happy to see that the K1 also connects perfectly to Lightburn. But before we brought the girls in, I needed to do a quick reality check on that 7W diode module to manage our expectations. Material tests on wood, cork, slate, looking for the best engraving speed and power combinations. We'll use the best settings later. Then we threw in a piece of our standard tough 3.5mm plywood to see if it could cut it. The short answer, no. Even after several passes, it just couldn't make it all the way through. It's really important to understand what a 7-watt laser is designed for. It is not a heavy-duty cutting powerhouse. If you want to cut thick wood in a single pass, you need at least a 10-watt or 20-watt module. This machine is an engraver first and foremost. However, it can cut through softer, thinner materials just fine, which brought us perfectly to the girl's first project. With the limits tested, it was time to put the K1 to the ultimate family test. When my cousin and her daughters arrived, they were super curious about the sleek little machine. Rosa and I sat down at the computer to figure out what we wanted to make. Instead of searching for pre-made files, we decided to get creative and used AI to generate this fun, silly little graphics together. It's such a great way to get kids involved in the design process right from the start. We decided to engrave and cut this design out of the much softer, thinner piece of basswood that actually came included in the box with the machine. We measured the sample material and sized the graphics to it. Then Rosa carefully placed the blank piece of basswood into the machine. Now, because we were planning to cut this circle out, the material needed to be raised so the laser could pass through cleanly. The K1 doesn't come with a honeycomb bed, so we had to improvise. First, we tried resting the wood on this ugly metal grate I had laying around, but we couldn't really secure the piece to it. We eventually switched to resting it on a scrap plywood cutout, which allowed my cousin to tape the edges down so it couldn't shift during the job. But dealing with that gave us a much better idea. We hopped on AliExpress and ordered this tiny 150 by 150 millimeter stainless steel barbecue grill. It fits the K1's work area absolutely perfectly, provides great airflow for cutting, and looks so much better. It's a brilliant, dirt cheap alternative to a honeycomb bed, and I've put the link to it in the description if you want to grab one yourself. With the material secured, we used the included acrylic square to set the laser focus. You just place it between the laser head and the material and adjust the height of the head. Quick tip for the nerds out there. I measured that block with my calipers and it is exactly 1.74 millimeters thick, just in case you ever lose the original. The head gets really close to the material if you have the magnetic guard attached. In fact, I designed this little 3D printable focusing wand for my nieces to make setting the focus even easier. Check the description for the link to the STL if you have a 3D printer or a friend with one. And while you are down there looking for the link, why not click on the like button and even subscribe so we can keep in touch. Rosa confidently started the laser job straight from the Acmer Studio app. It was actually pretty funny to watch. The app decided to engrave the graphics in a completely unexpected jumping order. But thanks to the double lid protection, it was perfectly safe for the girls to peek in and watch the progress. Because we were working inside, we used my dedicated smoke purifier to extract the fumes. But the K1 is light and portable enough that when it goes to its permanent home at my cousin's house, they can easily just set it up on their porch to vent the smoke safely outside. And sure enough, while it struggled with the thick stuff earlier, the 7-watt laser was able to cut cleanly through this softer, thinner wood in just a few passes. Rosa was thrilled to take the finished piece out of the K1, and immediately they had a brilliant idea. Why not turn it into a pendant we could actually hang up? Of course, we could have easily designed that hole into our graphics and cut it with the laser right from the start, but now that the piece was already out of the machine, we needed a different approach. To get a small clean hole on the top of our newly cut wooden circle, without risking splitting the wood, we grabbed our Hotto snap lock precision mini drill. Hotto is a sponsor of the channel if you haven't noticed, and this little drill is absolutely perfect for small crafts, 3D printing and laser DIY projects. It's compact, easy to handle, and precise enough that you don't ruin your hard work. In just a few seconds, we had a perfect little hole drilled, completely ready for a string to pass through. It was the perfect finishing touch. If you need a fantastic precision toolkit like the Snap Block or any other high quality hot tool for your own workshop, check out the link in the description below and use our code gerGO on their website for a generous 15% discount. Next, we wanted to test out some different materials. Rosa placed the pre-cut Cork coaster into the machine. We set the focus, still using the original little measuring plate, and set it to engrave the exact same graphic. Let me tell you, a 7-watt laser is absolutely perfect for engraving cork. It breezed through the design in just 12 minutes with beautiful dark contrast using 70% power and a whopping 12,000 millimeters per minute speed. Finally, we moved on to Slate. We used a Slate coaster with the exact same diameter as the cork, but because the material thickness is different, we had to remember to set the focus one more time. Stone is obviously a lot tougher than cork, so we had to slow the machine down to just 7,000 millimeters per minute, still at 70% power. With these values, engraving this 100 millimeter diameter coaster took about 20 minutes. But here is the secret and the real payoff of a machine like this. Because it's a lower power 7-watt diode, the actual physical size of the laser dot is incredibly small, not even comparable to the thick laser beam of a 20-watt diode or 50-watt CO2. That tiny spot size means you get stunning ultra-high resolution markings. The details on this Slate came out incredibly crisp. It really proves that what this laser might lack in brute cutting force, it more than makes up for in precision engraving. Remember at the beginning of the video when I promised you an unexpected project where a 7-watt laser truly excels? Well, here it is. While it might struggle to cut thick plywood, it absolutely slices through thin, colorful cardboard like butter. Because the laser spot is so incredibly fine, we were able to cut out these highly intricate, delicate shapes without scorching or ruining the paper. By cutting different layers from various colors of cardboard and stacking them together, we created this stunning multi-layered 3D picture. My cousin and the girls are incredibly handy, but no human could cut shapes this accurately. They will be able to create designs like this with the K1, speeding up the most time-consuming part of the project. Would you have thought this can be a high precision and high speed replacement for even our scissors? This is exactly the kind of precision crafting where this little machine shines. I'm honestly not blown away by its raw cutting power for thick materials, but as a hyper-safe, high-resolution engraving and crafting tool for a family with kids, it is fantastic. It's the perfect safe entry point into the hobby. And there is actually more to this machine. We also received the Acmer rotary roller and the riser feet for it. In our next video, we are going to test how well this machine engraves cylindrical objects. And you will get to see the K1 setting up shop in its new permanent home at my cousin's house. Checking their website, the 7-watt variant of the K1 is currently priced at $299. Please use our link below to get it for just $249 or 216 euros with the automatic discount code while providing us with a little affiliate income. Pretty good value if you catch it. We love discovering and highlighting all kinds of family-friendly DIY tools on this channel, but of course, our main focus will always stay on 3D printing. If you enjoyed hanging out with us today and want to see what the girls make next using the K1, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you're sitting there wondering, okay, but what device would be capable of cutting thicker wood or even 3D carving a solid block into a relief of a hunter dog? Well, if those piqued your interest, our playlist on the Acmer Escarva 4S CNC router is an absolute must-watch. Or if you want to see what a slightly more powerful open frame laser can do, check out our experience with the Acmer P1. With whatever tool you have on your workbench, go print 3D. Thank you for watching another gerGO Print 3D video all the way to the end. See you in the next one.